But you hate to see this for the junior college transfer Singleton.
He'll be helped off the field. First down for Michigan. It's a Corum run right up the middle. It's a gain of 9. And they have the possession first on a very windy day in Lincoln, Nebraska. J.J. McCarthy to throw. It's tipped and it's incomplete. Michigan 55% on third down this year. Big line, first down run for Corum, keeping those legs moving. They've only allowed 3 sacks all year, 9 tackles for loss in 4 games. McCarthy slings it out wide for Donovan Edwards, Edwards, an outstanding pass catcher. Harbaugh just back last week, by the way, from that 3-game suspension. And J.J. McCarthy said he missed his vibe. Edwards was split out wide. Now he gets the carry, and it's third down. So look, the key. This is into the wind on third down and 3. And so it's Corum, and he is drilled, denied by Gifford. The pile's going to end up about a yard short of the line to gain. There it is, right up the zipper, first down. No mystery.
No. And the number of times you will watch today the ball just run between the tight ends. As much as anybody I have seen, especially last week as they got back into conference play. The first few weeks non-conference play.
5 drives of 5+ minutes last week against Rutgers.
Because the shots follow.
Tremendous play action team. They'll run it again. It is Edwards just stabbing his foot through Brown, and second down and short coming up.
Love Wilson in the slot here.
He's been a big touchdown maker. McCarthy scanning. Loads of time for McCarthy. Now he wings it downfield to the end zone. Roman Wilson, who's got a touchdown. Wow!
That is fighting wind. That is fighting hands and distraction drill. That's fighting contact. And he just pins it against Gifford's helmet and doesn't lose control.
How did he do this?
That is extraordinary ball skills. That is his 7th touchdown of the season. And that is a rapport with the receiver. And truly, as JJ told us this week, this dude is fearless.
Play football. He woke up at 3 in the morning to get on a flight every day.
On the back of a dude's helmet to make the play.
Stuck it right to the Nebraska helmet of Gifford as we check in downstairs with Allison.
You don't get a chance to go out and show their work ethic and toughness.
How cool was that, Allison, when he said that yesterday? Not, I'm trying to make their day, like, and a chance, really, and he's not thinking about it this way right now, but a chance to be in Nebraska lore. First throw tipped in the air and intercepted by Michigan and Kenneth Grant with the long arms at 340 engulfing the ball. That's the first pick for Harburg this year.
Have such a feel. You're going to see the stunt here from McGregor. He doesn't get home, but he reads the quarterback. He's 6'6". He times it perfectly. And Jason, if anybody was due the ball to fall into their arms, it's number 78. He paved the way for Sainer Still on the interception a week ago. Big man was in the open field blocking. And sometimes that ball,
including that opening Big Ten loss at Minnesota. This is another run, and it's Corum just tripped up after a couple of yards. That's Henrich on the stop. Michigan 4-0, all at the big house so far. It's another give. Corum is so patient. He is so cool in the backfield, Brock.
The jump cut wasn't there. Just watch his feet right here. You talk about the patience, but it's the jump cut right there to make somebody miss.
Mullings in 3rd and 1. And it's Mullings seeking the end zone. Touchdown.
look at the wave of humanity here, and in particular the left tackle, Ladarius Henderson, the transfer from Arizona State, just washes down the line of scrimmage.
He had 6 carries in the Rutgers game, but Jim Harbaugh has very much been a man of his word. 55, 58, 26, and 46 is finding its way near 100 already.
They pound, and then come the explosive plays over the top.
So the touchdown for Wilson, then the long run for Mullings. This is a toss, and it's Grant for about 1.5 yards. It's back-to-back years, wins over Ohio State, obviously very much in red pen or whatever color pen they choose to use for later in the year. 2nd down and 9 for Harburg, who was picked off on the last drive. He's got it to the tight end, Thomas Fidoni. And
by Michigan. And Harburg gets a feel in the pocket so much better, like a lot of young quarterbacks outside the pocket, using his speed. But this time sees the 8 men drop into coverage, and his roommate of 2 years, who he's most comfortable throwing the ball to.
This is where it feels like the 80s and 90s, and Michigan crashes down on top of that speed option. And then it was like, well, let's just run one of them. And then it became, you know what? This could be bread and butter for us, considering what we have. Billy Kemp, the wide receiver, in motion. 3rd and 5 for Nebraska. Harburg, pump fake, throws down the middle, 1st down, and then some. Billy Kemp does get his first touch, and he's all the way inside the 25.
But number 2, watch him in the pocket. It is not always teaching tape, as they like to say. Look at his feet, kind of all out of sorts. That back foot pops up. I don't care. It's a little bit unorthodox. Kind of like that first completion, seeing
the feet say whatever it takes, and the guy basically says whatever it takes as well. They get it to Kemp one more time, and truth be told, with the 10 on the field, 2nd down and 6, and a marker comes in, and that's the type of thing Nebraska really can't afford today.
That's a big left tackle.
Offense number 69, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Up at the bottom of the formation in white for Michigan. He's already got 2.5 sacks as Harburg throws it, and he's on time and on target to Borkacher, the tight end.
He comes to life.
It's a jet sweep. And it's Bonner, and he is not going to get to the line to gain.
Jenkins, you do not see that much. Such a steady Eddie, a defensive tackle, but this play hits so fast. Bonner's able to break that tackle. And looks like the Cornhuskers are at least going to line up to go for it.
This, if they snap it, is going to be a run. At least that's what Marcus Satterfield will tell you, and it looks like they're not going to run a play. Harburg leaping, driven back. The spot is what matters, and the far side official says no.
That could be the difference in this measurement.
He's well short. Well short, and it's this guy, 17.
Yeah, just watch him right here. It's just the timing of it. He just drives, and it's actually not Borkacher, it's Lindenmeyer. He drives him right into the point where the former trackster Harburg is trying to jump. He's trying to leap. Watch the contact right there. That contact just stops the inertia. He gets nothing going. These edge players for Michigan are monsters.
It's another run straight ahead for Donovan Edwards.
You call a lot of basketball, and it sets the table for everything else.
And they'll take 3 yards on 1st down, 2nd and 7. It's another handoff. Edwards knocked down. Javen Wright, nice play.
We're going to go for 4th and 1 and see what happens.
Got it. Thanks, Matt.
Needs a stop right here, Allison. Thank you. J.J. McCarthy with a bullet right down the middle. That's a 1st down to his tight end, A.J. Barner.
So we talked about Heinrich's feet earlier. What I love about J.J. is just the rhythm he gets in. Plant that back foot and then throw a bullet. And if you want to carve through 25-mile-an-hour winds, you know what helps? Really tight spirals. Jim Harbaugh, so good.
Now he's got the wind at his back. A little hesitation from Edwards.
And back in the day, that O-line background, you get a great feel for the game.
Perfect team to have that on. Little shovel there. It's Barner again. And McCarthy just kind of flicked it out there like a one-timer.
All season long, save for 3 kind of bad decisions against Bowling Green. Other than that, it's just been this, man, just playing the game free. 80% completion percentage, flicking it out to my buddy to the right, my buddy to the left, my home run hitter, and Wilson operating like a QB that's done it for 18 starts.
Well, as we said off the top, he leads the FBS in completion percentage. And for J.J. McCarthy. Oh, they're going to pass it back. He loads up, he scans, he fires right down the middle. That is a bullseye. Man, oh man, Cornelius Johnson. What's that, time?
Yes, and nobody around you. Usually a flea flicker, right? Things break down. Look at that. He can't even smell a Cornhusker around him. And then that kid can just, as I said, rip it, man. And now the wind at his back.
Well, Sharon Morris said in his press conference this week, I love trick plays. He's very willing to do it. Edwards to the outside. He slammed down after 9. Allison.
But he's very focused on having both sides of him, the beast and the counter beast.
He's an exceptional talent. And here he goes. He loves to run and score. Touchdown.
Mike's right down there. Yeah, thank him. Because once again, look at the protection. Nebraska brings 5. He feels it. But look at the open space. Nebraska knew it. He runs and scrambles in the middle of the field to throw it.
How about Allison? She just finishes talking about both sides of him. He aggressively runs into the end zone. And this is prototypical Michigan football right now. Just short of 70 yards so far. Harburg out wide for Anthony Grant, and he's drilled by Michael Barrett. Time touchdown against UNLV and an opening score to Rutgers. The only 2 touchdowns as Harburg has to fall on this.
And those 4 years helped shape him into the D coordinator he's become.
With the Baltimore Ravens, Harburg has to climb the pocket and run on 3rd and 16, and he'll be well short as they tried to rip the ball away. Will Johnson was going for it. Top 5 of the nation in tackles for loss. You don't really have to help them. As this is back to Jake Thaw, who looks for the sideline and gets tracked down here in Lincoln, Nebraska. It's not a very good Kansas State team at all. First down, play action. McCarthy so proficient in play action. Incomplete for Johnson. Newsom trailing him 2nd down.
On a long throw like this, that wind is behind you. It's a tight ball. It just sails a little bit. Yeah, I mean, you can feel it, right? Especially when it's blowing the way it is today. But less air, the better when you've got the wind with you.
2nd down, Corum was out in the pattern, and he's too high for Loveland. Edwards into the backfield, and it is Edwards, and he is stonewalled by Wright.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised unless, you know, you'll see teams show that double-A gap blitz and then fall out of it. Because I think you saw Wright almost try or start to do, but once he sees the ball handed off, he's like, well, I'm right here in the A gap, might as well make the tackle. And a 3-and-out Nebraska desperately needed.
Tommy Dolman to punt. He'd only punted 9 times this year coming into the game.
Whoa.
And he's going to use the wind for good. Like a lot. Back to the eye. It's a short toss for Grant, and he has not had much running room at all so far today.
But so far effective.
2nd down for Harburg. Batted at the line, right back to him. Harburg caught his own pass.
And remember this, Heinrich is 6'5", and it's not as if he's got a terribly low delivery, but once again, the timing of it.
Once as a boomerang to Harburg. 3rd and 5 for Harburg. That's a laser for Billy Kemp, and a Nebraska 1st down, much needed.
Remember, going this way, it's into the wind. Kemp so savvy, so productive. 2,000 yards receiving in his career between Virginia 5 years and the leader here in Nebraska. Does a good job with his frame. He's a low center of gravity guy.
To his name. That's Bullock out wide on 1st down out of the eye again, and they'll go with Bonner, the fullback. for a 1.5 yards. That's not exactly.
See you right on the back here. Watch these guys. They're going to run a little line step, and still, look how square they stay, Jason. They don't get turned. You get turned, you give up space. You give up an opening. On top of the details.
They're still playing without Mason Graham. Very talented sophomore out again today. Harburg runs right into it, and he is thrown down by Josiah Stewart.
Yeah, this is so good. These edge guys are controlling this game. This is going to be a little sprint out naked to his left. And all that Heinrich's looking at is number 8, Derek Moore, going, well, that's no good. And, well, that's no good.
He's been with Matt Rule over the course of a handful of stops. Baylor, Temple, Carolina in the NFL. Harburg spits it out. Got a completion for Kemp. And now it's going to be 4th and a couple. As Michigan's defense has once again owned a game here in 2023. And this is dropped and recovered. Tyler Morris has room. After the bobble, he finds his way into Buschini in big yards. It was there, it was available, and then it was all maize and blue, 21-0. Texas in a close one, Georgia in a close one. Corum in close quarters gets dragged down by Ty Robinson.
Watch him right here. He is going to split the guard, Keegan. And the tackle Henderson there said, enough's enough, man. I'm tired of being the first one hit.
Down off the loss of 3 for Corum. Michigan does not lose yards very often, and now that's going to be delayed. See if they gave him a timeout beforehand.
Prior to the snap, first charge timeout, Michigan. Timeout in the field.
That year, and the debate rages on forever between players on both those teams. Who would have won that game, Nebraska or Michigan? 2nd and 13 for the Wolverines. Cornelius Johnson breaks a tackle and then traipses down the sideline very close to the line to gain.
KJ will just throw it underneath. He sees the soft zone coverage. Once again, excellent protection. And we've seen the weapon that these receivers are with the yards after catch, and that's a beautiful stiff arm there. Allowed to do that as long as you don't pull it down as an offensive player.
3rd and 1. Bredesen comes in as the extra tight end. Mullings is the tailback. He scored a touchdown earlier, and he crashes to the 40.
Defenders, look at him, the commitment they've got to make to stopping that run.
They use Wilson in motion, and then it's Corum moving those legs forward. He is a tough guy from the
best guards in America. I've talked about the one on the other side. How about Zach Zinter, the all-conference a year ago? I mean, you're just washing people down. That's Hupmaker. That's 330 pounds of a heavyweight wrestling champ, and he just displaces them. It's kind of the opposite, right? When I talked about the wall that Michigan builds defensively, they don't get turned.
Those guards play 7-on-7 late in the week in practice, and it is a big competition with their own teams that they've selected. McCarthy on the roll, hits Wilson against Team Keegan.
Two smart guys. There's the off-balance throw you mentioned. Doing all they can to maybe make this the last possession of the half.
Corum darting up the middle again, and you mentioned it briefly earlier, but 3rd and 2, Mullings again. That is just power for Michigan. 1st down. McCarthy doubles out of the pocket and launches. End zone, Wilson! That had a vapor trail on it.
And we've talked about these legs. This is the X factor. You talk to any coach, how do you become a lead in the red zone? And they all say the same thing. Got to run the ball, but then your QB's got to make these kind of special plays off schedule. And right now, he's not mentioned with Penix, and he's not mentioned with Caleb Williams, and he's not mentioned with Bo Nix. He better start getting mentioned.
Thing that was very similar, just extemporaneous work out of the pocket and the arm to match.
Yes, has aided his mentality, and then the just overall athletic prowess has aided his QB play.
Eating corn in the end zone.
Thanking everybody and their mother.
Corum did last year. Here's a run for Harburg, and he finally breaks free across the 40-yard line. Want to overtake Michigan and Ohio State at some point eventually, but it worked for him in the Big 12 to aim for not Texas and Oklahoma right away, but to get there down the line, you have to pass the other guys first, isn't it? 2nd down and 3. Everybody take a breath. Except it's not possible with this Michigan defensive line. Harburg on the roll and throw to the sideline, and that will do it for the first half from here in Lincoln, Nebraska.
First half.
Extra butter in the first half for Michigan. And first down for Harburg and Nebraska. It's a throw. It's on the money, and it's Marcus Washington with his first, dragging Mason Blue all the way inside the 20.
Good was this at the second level. Harburg gets a little bit of protection, right? He can just step into that throw and just carry Wolverines for yard after yard after yard is Marcus Washington.
The transfer from Texas, his 7th grab, and now Nebraska with a little moxie right out of halftime. Michigan has not allowed a 3rd quarter point all year. Out of the shadows, Grant. Downstairs, Allison Williams. At all times in that first half. Thank you, Allison. Just 3 incompletions for J.J. McCarthy, 9 for 12. There's the option to short side, and Grant, who lost the football. It's down on the ground, and it's Ben Scott.
This play because look at the number of Wolverines. Look at the pack of Wolverines that come calling. A beautiful punch right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Michigan Wolverines, but just outside the arms of Jenkins, and Scott saves the day.
Best punch in a while by a guy named Michael Barrett for Nebraska. And that
is a killer.
Is the last thing they need.
False start. Offense number 23. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
The rest of the season, no balance. Tough day.
And there's a sack. Braden McGregor finally got his first.
Ice skates. We'll continue with the hockey theme. Watch Turner Corcoran right here. Left tackle. I mean, he is on skates into the quarterback. McGregor done a lot of the dirty work.
40 yards into the wind for Albano. And it is never there. Coming here to Nebraska, it was like find a school that would take both of them. They grew up in the same area in the Northeast. And good to see everybody back as McCarthy whistles that high for Loveland.
Teams, Nash Hutmaker, he wouldn't have worn number 0.
No.
But a little bit of a stunt there, and this is 3:30. Oh.
In high school as a wrestler, he was truly unbeatable, that guy in 0 who's trailing that play. I will say this, he comes from in close quarters. 3rd and long for Michigan. 5 for 7 on 3rd down today. McCarthy felt the heat. Loveland turns the corner and has a first down.
Nebraska has made, they've been super sound defensively. Just a little bit of a line stunt. Again, JJ getting hit, but this is the tackle. There's no Luke Reimer today. That's a couple times for right in the open field. A little better around the line of scrimmage, but when you throw short of the chains, defensively got to make that tackle. But offensively, Loveland breaks it.
And there was pressure again. That was Prince Will Umanmielen, who was in McCarthy's face. Corum off the left side for a couple of yards. J.J. McCarthy with affinity as like clockwork. And we have seen Michigan's clockwork so far. Play fake. McCarthy snaps it off right down the middle. Low clothesline for a first down to Darius Clemens.
Deep in cuts. Okay, this is going to be an NFL throw. This is going to be about a 20-yard in cut. They call that dagger. When he throws it, he throws his guys open. He's not waiting 2 or 3 steps out of the break. Oh, no. He's letting it rip because he trusts where Johnson's going to be, where Wilson's going to be.
That is why Michigan, by far, since last year, is the most proficient play-action passing team in the country. Oh, bowling ball city, population at least 2. Woof.
31 times.
And there he goes. Foot in the ground. First down. I also thought it was interesting. You asked him
I was at the combine. That includes O-line and D-line that did more than that. Absurd.
There's play action. There's McCarthy knowing exactly where Wilson is, and Roman Wilson flows out of bounds at the 11 today. Sharp drive for Michigan. Delayed handoff. Corum again plays pinball inside the 5.
Where's the blow?
Patient until he's not. There he goes again. And he is just short.
The two best guards in college football. And Mr. Nugent has joined the party. The transfer from Stanford. They just blow you off the ball.
Right back there. Corum is in. Standing, undaunted, touchdown, Michigan.
Right here, he's going to come on a little pulling action. They love to do this. A lot of counter, pulling the guards, and Mr. Zinter is just hunting. And
they just churn out offensive linemen nowadays.
My hunch is he's going to get awfully close to the very top of that record book before this season's done. We're gone.
Did you find it here on the turf? First down, another. The third one batted back at Harburg today. Teddy Prohaska comes in at left tackle, and this is a throw for Harburg, and it's behind his intended target. Will Johnson was closest.
You see Quentin Johnson right here, little RPO. Yep, and it gets his hand. So that's tip number 4. 3 by the D-line, 1 by the strong safety coming down.
Played a lot of football for Michigan and just got his first start against UNLV in week 2. Now under siege, Harburg just has to whip it out of bounds. More yardage.
Illegal shift. Offense number 13. Penalties decline. 4th down.
Really is to get you off balance. As Buschini kicks it away, and it's a fair catch from Morris, drifting back to the 25.
I don't think he really cares. All he cares about is going 17-1. And then instead comes Jack Tuttle from Utah to Indiana to Michigan.
4 years at Indiana, 5 starts, 1 year at Utah. He did not play in 2018.
And certainly does it in November with their schedule. He will enter those conversations.
But you think skill-wise he deserves to be part of the conversation?
He's pretty darn elite, Jason.
Tuttle to throw, and that's incomplete.
And this kid can spin a football too.
We also saw Davis Warren loosening up during the break. It's Tuttle for now. There's a marker in. Might have been a neutral zone infraction with the snap coming. Greg Blum with the call.
Offside. Defense number 9. 5-yard penalty. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Defense number 48. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. It is number 48's first unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. A second results in game disqualification.
Well, here's the neutral zone. And once again, very clearly in it, does not get back. And well after the play, MJ Sherman with just, again, a catastrophic mistake.
They'll run it. It's Donovan Edwards.
5:30 guys. And keep, as you said, the tread from wearing down on the tires.
Tuttle to throw. And it's a crossing route for Clemens, who breaks it down, slams on the brake pads.
Use your own eyes and look at the size and strength of these young men.
Drop it off near side. It's Bredesen.
And he's the first one to say, not about me. Talk to my player. Talk to my player. Talk to my player.
There's Edwards for a couple yards. And McCarthy's back up. Tuttle on the handoff. And that is a ricochet forward for Mullings for a first down. And the offensive line helped get him there.
Michigan offensive lineman.
Giovanni El Hadi, a Michigan native, in at left guard. Here is Edwards bursting through the gap.
Physical whooping.
Quick throw for Tuttle. He's got Samaj Morgan, and the freshman Morgan, who just had his first college touchdown last week, has his first touch today. Great praise for him. Said, look, he's not afraid to take a hit as a freshman even. Under a minute to go, third quarter, and it's Edwards who is tracked down and ridden down.
and impose your will, which he loves more than anything.
Hand it off again for Edwards. 3rd down and 4 for McCarthy's backup, Tuttle. He has to roll out of the pocket with the pressure coming from right and go out of bounds. So it'll be 4th down for Michigan. That's a first for you,
Yeah,
right?
I don't think I've seen
That's
that.
a first.
Yeah.
Tense athlete, former hockey and lacrosse player from the south side of Chicago, as that goes swerving through.
For him, the number's not overwhelming, but super, super efficient. And all Roman does is add 2 more touchdowns.
Tommy Hill is here on the return. Oh, goodness gracious. Doctor. What a hit. That was Christian Boyven. Hello. Okay, that's the hockey part.
You add a little color to it, another sticker.
Kemp on the run. Now, speaking of those helmets, Allison Williams, you have one.
Well, what does he love to say?
Something about
EUTM.
emotion and mankind. Or
Yeah,
something.
you're close. Enthusiasm unknown to mankind.
Stickers like that for a crew, for good impressions, things like that. 2nd down run.
College football this season.
And Nebraska obviously is not the best version of Nebraska under Matt Rule that they will be, as that's flipped out wide and caught by the freshman Johnson. And he
all around Harburg, so he's got to get out of the pocket. And here comes the former Cornhusker just throwing the hammer down.
He's from Columbus, Nebraska, here in the state. Hausman spent 1 year here, 7 starts. Harburg to throw. He's got a 1st down to Fedoni. Well, he knows the pageantry here, right? And how loud these fans can be, and the expectations as well, as that's incomplete. But I was just going to say,
I don't care who you're playing. You've given up 2 touchdowns all year.
here comes pressure from the backside. Harrell couldn't get there, and it's nearly intercepted. Keon Sabb got his hands on it. Looked like.
Oh, Harrell wanted this sack so bad right here. Once again, look at the wide 9. Look at that technique, how far outside he is, but then the speed and the explosion to close the cushion. The ball sails. And Sabb's a little bit upset because he certainly wanted that takeaway, but no chance as it hit the ground.
All right, I'm done. 3rd down for Harburg. He has to throw it quickly, and it's incomplete off the hands of Washington. And this has not been to play quarterback for this team, means a lot to him. And moving forward, we'll see what this looks like for the Huskers. Pressure again. He gets roped and dropped. Josiah Stewart was not going to let go.
This time, not so much. Once again, these edges have been so formidable, suffocating Michigan today and all season long. Stuck it out, that guy. It's my Nebraska MVP today.
Denegal in at quarterback, and it's a handoff. A scorcher here in Lincoln, Nebraska. Denegal to throw, felt the pressure, and now there goes a big body, inviting contact and creating resonance into right. They will run it here on 1st down.
Yeah, I think their strengths are a little bit different. I think Ohio State on the perimeter, obviously, with Abuka and Harrison Jr. It comes down to the line of scrimmage, which they usually do in November. Ohio State's got continued room to grow. Now, having said that, what they did a week ago, and you could.
You know, Mike Loxley has built some belief there in College Park, as this does go to the 21-yard line.
On the column to JJ as well.
Well, and the one piece of that goes along with all of this is the psychology behind having won 2 in a row, who came back here. And there's a belief that they're going to beat Ohio State. Whether that's true or not, we'll find out together.
Since then, not many people have, other than Georgia and a little bit of TCU.
A little bit, but that was a 96-point game.
Have the awareness, the heat of that moment right there to pin it against Gifford's helmet, not lose control. I got my partner pretty excited right at the jump.
I'm standing right here. I have a name. Denegal down the middle. That's a touchdown for the Wolverines. Peyton O'Leary scores it.
As a Wolverine, and you know, kind of like JJ, once again, I can pat the ball, I can step up in the pocket, 6'5", I can see it clearly, and I can deliver a seed. He will remember that one. This has been a bit of a statement.
A bit. Divisional series. We know how Brock feels about the Seafarers from Seattle and their fortunes. There's a return for Tommy Hill. And he'll get to the 20 and the 23 and the 24 and the 25 and the 26.
Well, taking the ball away, hit and harass the young Harburg, and just not allowed Nebraska to go
right up the middle, and there finally is a big run. Joshua Fleeks, the Baylor transfer, means no shutout in Lincoln today.
Back, he'd been a receiver, and you're going to see the same pull in action from Nebraska. The kick out there, a nice job by Piper. He's not giving up. And it's a good thing they put Mr. Fleeks at running back, because nobody from Michigan was going to catch him in the open field.
Looked like it was going to be the first shutout for Nebraska since Jake Plummer in Arizona State in 1996. Here we go. Onside kick opportunity for Nebraska. And this is on the ground and looked like recovered by Michigan.
November will be something to remember.
This is quarterback number 4 for Michigan, and that's dropped by Morgan. And a run on second down. Everybody wants contact. According to Bo Schembechler, I don't know, they're kind of up in the physical here today. It's going to be a little bit closer to 2-1. Maybe from myself. First down, and a run once again for Franklin.
Never.
Second down for Michigan. Davis Warren looking for that first touchdown pass, and he gets clobbered long here.
Finally, Mr. Wright says, is that a running back or a tight end I get to tackle? Oh. It's a 1-6. I'll take him down. Yeah.
Look at you, Sherlock Holmes.
Tony Romo, got nothing on me.
Great. 42 plays. Michigan has run 73 today. As that's up in the air, and it's tipped by Wright. He's been everywhere late in this game.
Continuing to compete to the end, but bowl game is big step number 1 from Mr. Rule this year.
Harburg tipped in the air and incomplete.
90,000 week in and week out, and provides such a home crowd, such an environment. I would have said there's just no way. You know, the place, the facilities are off the charts. Their phone's blown up. He's going to have brighter days.
Stock guy had a pretty bright day, honestly, at the end of this thing. But yeah,
and from high school kids to difference makers.
Fourth down throw, Harburg on target right to midfield for Jalen Lloyd, the freshman, with his first catch. One last play for Nebraska native Heinrich Harburg from Kearney, Nebraska. He'll roll it out. He'll throw it in the air, and it's incomplete. And the Michigan Wolverines once again pile on 17 straight in the win column in the Big Ten. Top 5 in league history, and an impressive, overwhelming performance for Michigan today.